Okay, let me log in. YouTube. Hello everybody. Motherfucker. Okay, we're not touching it no more. We're gonna let it rest. For YouTube. Hello everybody. Um you probably know my name already. Some of the people come back now. I'm not just making these videos and shit for nobody no more, which is nice. Today we're watching the song Frank Ocean took a decade to make. I'm assuming it's White Ferrari, cause that's the song that was on the thumbnail. But let's go.
Frank Ocean's Blonde is one of the most defining albums of the 2010s. Its stories of personal struggles, love, sexuality, and acceptance have resonated with millions. But one of these stories was harder for Frank to tell than any other. To understand White Ferrari, we have to move back all the way to 2004. A young man named Christopher Bro sits in the driver's seat of his car as he watches his first relationship collapse in front of him, and he is plagued with silence. This moment and the silence attached to it will haunt him for the next 12 years, and it will lead him on the most difficult songwriting journey he has ever faced. This is the story of why it took Frank over a decade to finally find the right words to say.
Okay, I don't understand. Did he have a fucking Ferrari back in the day? Because I'm assuming that's when he was in college. How the fuck, like because the whole album was going on like Blonde. It's the timeline is him in college, right? Because that's when the hurricane struck. That's when he was in like people's houses and shit. That's when he had those like different relationships with people and like the bisexuality thing. By the timeline, it should be in college. So how the fuck did he have a Ferrari in college? He's probably gonna explain it later, and I'm probably gonna look very stupid, but it's okay.
White Ferrari.
Frank Ocean began making music in New Orleans in 2005, but he escaped to Los Angeles in 2006 following the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. There, he would end up becoming a ghostwriter, finding work for major artists like John Legend, as well as industry starlet Justin Bieber. This was Frank's introduction to the musical mainstream, and his talent was undeniable. He was swiftly picked up by Def Jam Records, changing his stage name from Christopher Bro to Frank Ocean. His first mixtape, Nostalgia Ultra, debuted in early 2011 to high praise from the music industry, featuring the punchy melodies on his first major hit in his discography, Novocaine.
A hot take, best song from him. Literally the best. Best. Actually, nah, bullshit. Solo. I love Solo. I absolutely love Solo. But Novocaine is like at the top there. It's like, it's very high up.
Frank had introduced his style of music to the world, blending love, themes of escaping, unprocessable emotions, and storytelling, which came to a crescendo on his debut album, Channel Orange. The album was praised and adored by fans, but inside of its lyrics, you can begin to hear Frank address some of the darker themes of his romantic life.
Forrest Gump is the best song in Channel
struggles
Orange.
With his sexuality, and finding himself unable to find closure, pack the record. Like on the track Thinking About You, where Frank is having a rambling conversation with the first man he got intimate with, and Frank struggles to not overthink about what that moment meant.
Not like how you call it, not judging, but I had no idea Frank Ocean really likes men. Like, I heard about it, people said that before, but I've never thought that that was true.
And how we should move on from it.
I've been thinking about you. Do you think about?
So every time I was singing this song, I was singing about a guy. Well, of course, it depends on like who you associate the song with, but theoretically, I was singing about a guy this whole time. Nice, Frank.
Setting Frank's partner in the role of someone who is able to have a casual hookup and move on, while Frank is left thinking about the life he could have with this man. There are also songs like Forrest Gump, where Frank is struggling with basic communication to his love interest Forrest. Frank is unknowingly creating distance between them with the words he is yelling out to him, and he is unable to connect.
Yo, if you would, not saying that you are, not saying that it's bad, but if you were to be gay, would you give or would you take? I need to know. I need to know.
that his commands to Forrest are what are leading him to leave, coyly wondering where Forrest went as he never saw him again. The album was ultimately a test run for Frank, where he began to process the key emotions that he expresses in White Ferrari: unrequited love, loss, communication, and
my bad, chat. We need to.
Loss, communication, and
my bad, chat. We need. Okay, never mind. The sound is good. We're chilling. We're cooling.
Overthinking, but Frank wasn't ready yet to talk about the most personal love story he had to offer. Despite Channel Orange bringing Frank more success than he had ever had, he could not shake the feeling that he had failed to close the most important chapter of his romantic life. The moment where he threw away his first love was left to stare at himself in the mirror and realize that it was all his fault. He wanted to make a song that would grant him closure, not knowing if it was even possible. So he began to work in early 2013 on White Ferrari, not realizing it was the most difficult song he'd ever have to write. Starting at Electric Lady Studios in New York, Frank would spend weeks writing and scrapping lyrics, instrumentals, cover arts, metaphors, and song structures before he considered giving up on it entirely, creating over 50 very different versions of White Ferrari that he felt weren't good enough. At one point, Frank played one of these versions for his little brother Ryan, who said that he had to release it.
Drop you off and in a few months we'll talk again. When you need a break.
But Frank could not put that version out because it did not give him peace yet. At the lowest point in the song's creation, Frank sat in the studio listening to old Beatles records, where he got his first piece of inspiration.
Bro, I want to make R&B music so bad, but my problem is I cannot sing. Like, I have so many stories to tell. I would, like, my writing is good. My writing is very good. I love writing about everything, you feel me? But the problem is I can't sing, and I don't want to like rap about the stuff that I want to talk about, you feel me? I would rather make like Daniel Caesar type of music.
Listening to the song here, there, and everywhere. In that old vinyl, Frank found the perfect melody for his song.
Spending each day of the year.
This influence from the Beatles saw Frank change studios to Abbey Road Studios in May of 2015, where he completed the bulk of Blonde. Well, most tracks, that is.
Bro, I'm trying to move to a city. I'm tired of living where I live right now, bro. I swear to God, bro. I can't take this shit anymore. I need to move my ass to the city. I've just came back from the city, and it was the best experience ever. The people amazing, so much nicer. No country people up on my ass every single day about the way I act, the way I dress, the way I talk, the way I walk. Like, everybody there is just so soulful, you feel me?
Despite having the melody, Frank still could not finish White Ferrari, trying with artists like Kendrick Lamar and Tyler the Creator, who were working on other songs for the album. Ultimately, Frank enlisted the help of Kanye West to help mentor him through the song. You can even hear some of Kanye's backup vocals in the final version of the song.
Love. Yeah.
After a few more weeks of tinkering, Frank finally finished the song as one of the last tracks completed for his second studio album. But what made the song so challenging for Frank that he had to travel to multiple continents, enlist some of the best creators in music, and make 50 versions of it before he felt like it would give him peace. The reason the song was so difficult was because you cannot change the past, no matter how often you think about it.
Yeah.
White Ferrari opens with a scene of Frank and his love going for a drive that they have gone off on many times before. But Frank has failed to recognize the signs that he and his love have begun to grow apart, explaining the silence between them by dismissing it.
Bad luck to talk on these rides.
While his passenger stares out at the road and the clouds, Frank naively believes that they are having a good time despite his passenger's lack of engagement with him. This is how 16-year-old Frank felt at the time. He was clueless to the fact that his relationship was about to end, and we hear the modern-day Frank in between the lines explain to the listener how he feels now. Allowing himself to express his feelings of regret about how he handled these interactions, but also giving himself grace by saying that he was too young to know any better. This current day Frank, interjecting on the story so quickly into the song, shows how much Frank has thought about these events, playing them over and over and over again in his mind so often that he cannot separate his modern self from the memory anymore. The song continues.
I feel like Frank, after he made Blonde, he just, because he's such a deep writer, he's such an overthinker, and that's what makes him special, because he thinks everything through. Like, the way I do shit sometimes, I just start, because if I start thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, I will just keep on thinking and I will never like do the thing. You feel me? But with Frank, he's so deep about it. He knows exactly what he has to do, but he still needs to like think it through. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly for y'all. I don't know if you're gonna understand my message, my thoughts, but yeah.
Continues on, with Frank letting his passenger out at their stop, and they wait by the door for Frank to say goodbye to them, but he never says the words they are looking for. He instead kept his mouth shut, feeling that the feelings that they had for each other were still strong enough that he did not need to say anything in that moment. After all, they were so familiar with each other. Frank admits to having a slow body, meaning the feelings and the things he wants to express are taking too much time to leave his mouth, ultimately saying nothing to his love, and the result is her leaving him. It's at this point in the song where the lyrics begin to overlap with each other. Like they all came rushing to Frank's mind at once as he's panicking, trying to piece together in his mind what just happened to him. As Frank is driving away, he starts trying to text his passenger to say all the things he should have said, but that door is closed. Frank is left to reflect on the fact that he was never able to do the basic things in the relationship correctly, like communicate, and the toll that that took on the relationship. The next verse in the song is from the perspective of current day Frank, looking back with nostalgia on the good times with his love that he will never have again. Frank struggles deeply with this idea even after a decade, knowing that the way he feels about how the relationship ending is not mutual. He says that to take mind over matter requires magic and that he has said magic. Usually this expression carries a positive connotation, praising someone's ability to enjoy the simple pleasures in life rather than the material objects the world has to offer.
Damn. This shit is deep. Bro, I thought it was like, I understood the whole story of the album, right? I've watched like a lot of videos on it. I've like read the whole shit, try to figure it out myself too, but I've never like pieced the songs, the lyrics, you feel me? Damn. This shit deep, for real,
But Frank changes the definition of this in context of his tendency to get trapped in his own head. If you think saying that if the other person in the relationship were to think back on their time with Frank, they could get over it in no time at all. A luxury that he has not had for the past 12 years. He is unable to accept the events that occurred, the matter of the situation, because his mind has taken it over. And he closes this realization by saying that that's just life, making peace with the idea that he will never find closing relationships or establishing the basics as easy as his partners do. This is the last time we hear current day Frank on this song, and we can tell this because of an interesting tactic used throughout the song to switch perspectives. Past Frank is cast in this low piano playing in the background of his sections, eventually being swapped to a guitar for the present version of Frank.
Oh, damn.
And the final shift happens when this brief chime and static kick through.
Yeah, wait. It is like,
this is the first.
It is 3 melody switches. I've never thought about it like that. I've always thought about it as like a mood switch rather than like a whole time period switch. Damn.
Version of Frank that he wishes he was, demonstrated by this dreamy filter that bathes his voice. I'm sure we're taller dimension. This is described by Frank as a different dimension, and that is apparent by the conversation Frank is able to have with his love. They are able to share small talk about their bodies, what's troubling them, and where they should go on vacation. These are the basics that Frank was unable to have in the real world with this person. Frank has created a vision in his mind where he can do it all again, with the only difference being he corrects his mistakes, saying that we're okay here and we're doing fine, which is a contrast to when he said you were fine here earlier in the song. Dream Frank is unifying, checking to say things, and is the version of himself he wishes he could have been 12 years ago when he was staring at the last moments of his relationship that he was unable to save, closing the song with his imagined partner realizing that they are just in his head, trapped by the walls holding them in. But Dream Frank is comfortable here, calmly stating that those walls are only a skull, but not to be worried about it because they are happily free to roam here. The song fades away and the listener is left to process the story. White Ferrari is less about a relationship that Frank lost. It is about him not having the ability to process what happened to him. Music had always been the way Frank had freed his burdens and expressed himself, but this story was too personal himself for music to reach. It took over a decade and many other songs to help him unearth the themes of his love life that had trapped him with the story of White Ferrari.
Man.
The song was able to give him peace as he realized that what happened to him was just life, and that he can learn from his mistakes rather than letting them govern his mind. Creating a song that allows the past version of himself to enjoy the relationship that he had, the current version of himself to dread over past mistakes while giving himself grace, and the dream version of himself to freely roam his mind, knowing that he would have handled the situation better in another lifetime. And while no, Frank Ocean cannot change the past, he can prevent the past from trapping him in his future relationships. And that message was what Frank had been searching for all those years. Finally, White Ferrari gave him the words he had been looking for, and I think it was well worth the wait.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Crazy. Crazy, 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 man. What the fuck? This shit is deep. This shit is different. Man, I swear to God. Music is the most beautiful thing that can ever come out of a person's mouth. Like, music is something that carries people through the problems. It's one of the only forms of art that carries people through the problems. You feel me? Man. See, but watching all these videos and learning a lot about the musicians, it makes me mad because I can't go and talk to a person about, like, yo, you wrote this song and that shit hit me right in my soul. You feel me? And like, I can't go talk to them about it. I can't go ask them like, bro, why? How? Where? When? It is so interesting, bro. And actually, I just went to a Daniel Caesar concert. And man, I'm happy. Like, I haven't been happier in a fucking while. First of all, because I was in the city. As I said before, previously in this video, I hate my town. I want to move away. I beg to move away. But it's okay. We'll stick here until we can't stick here no more. But great video. Beautiful video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, because that was, in a way, eye-opening. It was a nice experience. Anyways, thank y'all for watching with me, YouTube. Love y'all. Peace. Bye bye.